Good evening, everyone. Warm welcome to Regulatory Bodies YouTube channel by Testbook. My name is Madhav Sir. I welcome you all in the next session of Finance Current Affairs. So before we start with the discussion, may I have a reply in the comment section that I'm audible, visible, everything is fine, we are good to go, so that we can begin the discussion. And today's session is going to be really very important because we will be discussing two important updates related to SEBI, and we all know that SEBI examination is round the corner. Keeping that in mind, as I promised you, that in this session I will be including the SEBI updates as well, so that it should be beneficial for you, not only for RBI exam, but for the SEBI examination as well. So before we start with the discussion, I would request everyone, if you haven't shared the link of this session, do share it with your friends so that we can begin. And in today's session, I will be giving you few questions as a homework as well, which will again help you to revise the content, which will again help you to retain the content, so that if any question is asked, you will be in a position to answer it. ठीक है जी, start करें. May I have a reply please? Good evening everyone. Good evening. एक बार जल्दी से मुझे बता दीजिए if we are good to go, so that we can begin the discussion quickly. In the comment section, if audio, video, everything is fine, just give me yes sir, so that we can begin. Okay, then let's get started with the first point. So first we have the revision. Whatever we have studied in the previous session, we will be revising it, and then we will be moving ahead to the current session, to the current discussion. So the first point is, if you want to download the PDF of this particular session, that will be available on my Telegram channel. Secondly, if we talk about the questions based on the previous session news, so please pay attention. Please pay attention. The first question from the previous session news is now on your screen. Select the most accurate statement about the Rural Consumer Confidence Survey and Urban Consumer Confidence Survey November 2025 राउंड. अगर हम November 2025 राउंड की बात करें, तो ये जो रूरल कंज्यूमर कॉन्फिडेंस सर्वे है और अर्बन कंज्यूमर कॉन्फिडेंस सर्वे है, अगर हम इसके बारे में बात करें तो कौन कौन से पॉइंट्स यहाँ पे करेक्ट होंगे. सबसे पहले पॉइंट पे अगर हम बात करें, बोथ रूरल कंज्यूमर कॉन्फिडेंस सर्वे एंड अर्बन कंज्यूमर कॉन्फिडेंस सर्वे आर एनुअल. नहीं सर, यही गलत हो गया. दे आर नॉट एनुअल, दे आर बाय मंथली. वी नो दिस वेरी वेल. So these surveys, they are conducted on bi-monthly basis, and these surveys, if we talk about regarding the rural consumer confidence survey, it is conducted in 31 states and union territories. But if I talk about the urban ones, it is conducted in 19 cities, something which you need to remember. So keeping that in mind, A option is wrong. Second, Rural Consumer Confidence Survey covers the rural and semi-urban households across 31 states and union territories, which is bi-monthly. Urban Consumer Confidence Survey covers household in 19 cities and is bi-monthly. Both collect perceptions on general economic situation, employment, prices, income and spending. ये बिल्कुल ठीक है. This point is absolutely correct. Next is UCCS covers 50 cities, wrong, 19 cities. Ministry of Rural Development conducts this. No sir, it is conducted by RBI. Both the surveys are confident and their findings are not released. Galat hai sir, these findings are released and they are utilized by RBI before finalizing the RBI policies, RBI norms. So that is wrong. Moving on to the next question. अगला क्वेश्चन क्या कहता है सर? With reference to the State Bank of India's operations and digital strategy, consider the following statements. पहला, SBI mobile application, that is YONO, was launched in 2017 to integrate banking, lifestyle and e-commerce services on one digital platform. क्या ये पॉइंट सही है सर? ये पॉइंट बिल्कुल सही है, इसमें कोई गलती, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. दूसरा पॉइंट क्या कहता है? SBI कस्टमर बेस आज की डेट में लगभग 52 करोड़ customers है. That is correct, which is 520 million. That is also correct. And approximately we have 65,000 new customers joining or onboarding done by SBI on daily basis. That is also correct. So B point is also correct. Moving on to the next one. SBI's YONO platform currently serves over 100 million customers with around 10 million daily activity services. ये पॉइंट भी बिल्कुल सही है. अगर हम योनो ऐप की बात करें तो यहाँ पर 100 मिलियन जो यानी कि 10 करोड़ registered users है and around 1 crore users are daily active. That is also correct. Next is SBI traces its origin after there was a merger of presidency banks done. One was State Bank, one was Bank of Bengal, which was set up in 1806, Bombay 1840, Madras 1843. This is also correct. So keeping this in mind, D option is correct. SBI was established on 1st July 1950 after the Imperial Bank of India was merged with RBI. नहीं सर, RBI को तो या RBI के साथ तो किसी को merge किया ही नहीं गया. RBI is a all new entity. So the answer is going to be only one option. That is A option is the correct answer. ठीक है जी, क्लियर हो गया. नाउ लेट्स मूव ऑन टू द करंट न्यूज. आज के सेशन की ओर बढ़ते हैं और आज का जो सेशन है उसमें दो इंपॉर्टेंट न्यूज है जिसपे हम डिस्कशन करेंगे. पहला, SEBI has released the investor survey 2025 and second we will be talking about SEBI has eased out the process of doing business in the country where SEBI has rationalized and standardized the penalties which are charged on stock brokers. तो अगर SEBI ने स्टॉक ब्रोकर्स पे जो पेनल्टी चार्ज हुई है उन्हें कहीं ना कहीं रैशनलाइज किया, अनडाउटेडली इट विल प्रमोट द फाइनेंशियल मार्केट ऑफ द कंट्री. तो इन दोनों के बारे में आज के सेशन में डिस्कशन करेंगे. सो फर्स्ट आई वुड स्टार्ट विद SEBI has released Investor Survey 2025 finding to guide inclusive and responsible investing. So we all know that SEBI is the regulator of capital market. SEBI is responsible for investor protection. SEBI is responsible for investor education or investor financial awareness. So in order to frame the policies, in order to take up the steps so that SEBI can achieve its target, SEBI can fulfill its criteria, SEBI can perform its services for that particular part, SEBI needs the content, SEBI needs the data. So in order to collect this data, SEBI has come up with the India's security markets. First, I would say India's security markets findings, which is known as Investor Survey 2025, and this survey was conducted in the month of September 2025. Remember that if I talk about this particular survey, it's a very large scale survey. ये काफी बड़ा survey है and this survey is conducted nationwide. And obviously अगर nationwide survey conduct किया जा रहा है, it won't be possible for SEBI alone. It won't be possible for SEBI alone to conduct this particular survey, and that is the reason SEBI has tied up with many other organizations so that this survey can be conducted appropriately. So this survey has been conducted with Association of Mutual Funds in India. I hope you all know that Association of Mutual Funds in India, it is a self-regulatory organization for mutual funds. Then we have market infrastructure institutions. Market infrastructure institutions include one of the India's two top stock exchanges. One is National Stock Exchange, other one is Bombay Stock Exchange. Then we have the two depositories of India. One is National Securities Depository Limited and Central Depository Services Limited. So these are the organizations which have been in collaboration with SEBI to complete this particular survey. Remember that this survey was executed by a global data and analyst firm. What is the name of this global data and analyst firm? That is Kantar. If I talk about the reach of this particular survey, so this survey has reached out to 90,000 households in the country, covering 400 cities and 1,000 villages, which brings or which makes it India's largest household level survey on investment behavior. तो इंडिया में इन्वेस्टमेंट बिहेवियर को जज करने के लिए सेबी ने लॉन्च किया कौन सा सर्वे? So we call it as Investor Survey 2025. And if I talk about this Investor Survey 2025, in case of Investor Survey 2025, it is conducted in collaboration with Association of Mutual Funds India. Along with that, we have BSE, Bombay Stock Exchange, NSE. Bombay Stock Exchange का जो most important index है, which is the base for India's stock market, that is Sensex, and in case of NSE, it is Nifty. In case of Sensex, we have 30 components, 30 companies, but in case of Nifty, we have 50 companies. Along with that, we have NSDL as well as we have CDSL. ठीक है जी. Now, if I talk about Now, if I talk about this particular survey, one thing which is really very important, which you need to understand, अब इस survey से होगा क्या? See, if you are an organization, if I'm talking about that you are a stock regulatory organization, then obviously you will be making this point very sure that you must know how well the investors they participate in the capital market, so that you can come up with the policies accordingly. And in order to collect that data, SEBI has conducted this particular survey. Now the question is, sir, it included the responses from not only investors, it has also recorded the surveys from non-investors and lapsers. Lapsers means those who were previously invested but now they have stopped, and even the intenders who are planning to invest soon, and even intermediaries were included, like the survey included the discussion with or collecting the data from brokers, distributors as well as advisors. अब क्वेश्चन ये है कि सर इसके ऑब्जेक्टिव्स क्या हैं, जो मैंने अभी आपको बताया उनको थोड़ा सा टेक्निकल फॉर्म में देख लेते हैं. ऑब्जेक्टिव इज फर्स्ट वन, SEBI tries to assess the level of financial awareness and market participation in the country. Identify karna what are the barriers, what are the motivators, and what are the risk perceptions which are influencing the investor's decision. Evaluate the effectiveness of investor education and grievance redressal mechanism, as well as guide SEBI's future policy and outreach initiatives to make investment more inclusive, accessible and responsible. So remember that ये जो survey है, if I talk about this survey, so this survey comes at time when India's financial market are expanding rapidly. If I talk about since COVID, India की जो financial market है, और for that matter India की जो total economy है, it is expanding at a very high pace, especially the financial market, because of addition of many new investors. I would say most of the households, most of the market aware individuals these days, they are trying to invest their funds so that they can multiply their investments. Now the investment is not only done in the equity instruments, it is also done in the mutual fund instruments as well as in the other financial instruments, which will lead to digitalization and rising of income. अब पॉइंट ये आता है कि सर जहां से क्वेश्चन बनेगा एग्जामिनेशन में, और जो एग्जामिनेशन में क्वेश्चन बनेगा वो पहला ये है कि सर व्हाट आर द की फाइंडिंग्स ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर सर्वे. If I talk about the key findings of this particular survey, पहले awareness पे बात करते हैं. If I talk about the awareness, sir, out of total 63% of Indian households, the count is around 213 million, या फिर आप ये कहो 21.3 crore households, they are aware of at least one security market product. क्यों उन्हें awareness है? They have the awareness about the security market product, which include either they know about mutual fund, or maybe exchange traded fund, or maybe shares, or maybe futures and options, maybe real estate investment fund, infrastructure investment funds, bonds, as well as alternative investment funds, which include hedge funds, venture capital funds and whatnot. तो यहाँ पे पहला पॉइंट हमें क्या पता होना चाहिए कि सर out of India's total household, 63% of India's household, they are aware, they know very well, they are aware, they know very well about what? So they are aware, they know very well about either any one of the financial market instrument. दूसरा पॉइंट है कि सर अवेयरनेस तो है 63%, बट participation is only 9.3% or 9.5%, which is around 32.1, which means 3.21 crore households, they actively participate in security market. उसमें भी अर्बन की अगर हम बात करें तो अर्बन पॉपुलेशन 15% है, रूरल की बात करें तो रूरल पॉपुलेशन है 6%. हाईएस्ट पार्टिसिपेशन इज विटनेस्ड फ्रॉम दिल्ली पॉपुलेशन एंड देन फ्रॉम द गुजरात पॉपुलेशन. तो यहां पे हमें दो चीजें समझनी है. पहला, अवेयरनेस. So 63% of households, they are aware, but out of the total households, only 9.5% households, only 9.5% households, they are actively investing in the stock market. If I talk about the knowledge gap, sir, only 36% of investors, they have high or moderate understanding of the financial products, highlighting the need for ongoing financial education and awareness campaign. तो अगर हम आज की डेट में बात करें, 36% of the investors, not of the public, 36% of the investors, they have the sound knowledge about the financial market. बाकी सब तो तुक्के पे, बाकी सब सोशल मीडिया से या फिर जो भी उन्हें इनपुट्स मिल रहे हैं फ्रॉम डिफरेंट आई वुड से mediums, uske basis pe they are investing. If I talk about the investors' behaviors, around 80% of Indian households, they prefer capital preservation, which means they want to save their principal amount over the higher returns, reducing the risk averse culture. That means Indian market जो है, it is not prone to risk culture. It is targeting कि जो आपका टोटल इन्वेस्टर है उसमें से 80% इन्वेस्टर यही सोचता है कि रिटर्न जो हो वो ठीक है, लेकिन जो मेरा प्रिंसिपल है, जो मेरा इन्वेस्टमेंट अमाउंट है, वो क्या नहीं होना चाहिए, डाइल्यूट नहीं होना चाहिए. आई शुड रिटेन दैट प्रिंसिपल वैल्यू, जिसकी वजह से अनडाउटेडली जो डेट इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स है, जिसकी वजह से अनडाउटेडली जो डेट इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स है उनमें जो इन्वेस्टमेंट है दैट इज इंक्रीजिंग. जो डेट इंस्ट्रूमेंट है उनमें जो इन्वेस्टमेंट है दैट इज इंक्रीजिंग. So interestingly, 79% of Gen Z's household, younger investors, they also show risk averse tendency and indicating that they prefer low risk instruments like bank deposits, small saving, fixed deposit income products, or maybe the debt instruments which are issued on the market itself. So ये behavior बहुत clear है, जो बताता है कि we should aware the public, and this awareness has also grown, which has channelize the risk appetite as well as it has increased the call of diversification, जहां पे diversification के लिए understanding होनी important है. अगला point काफी important है जो कि आपके पास डायरेक्ट एक MCQ फॉर्मेट में आ सकता है, वो ये, according to the SEBI's investor survey 2025, what are the barriers to investment? अगर हम barriers to investment की बात करें तो पहला point is complexity of products and process. Many of the investors, they don't understand the product, and if they understand, then they don't understand the process to invest or to purchase or to register or whatnot. Second, we have lack of financial knowledge. Lack of financial knowledge means public is not aware about the instruments, they are not aware about the characteristics of the instruments, they are not aware about the risk associated with the given instrument. Then we have low trust in market intermediaries. If we talk about the low trust in market intermediaries, so if we talk about barriers to investment, complexity of product and process, lack of financial knowledge, low trust in market intermediaries, and very importantly, fear of losses. हर बंदा जो आज की डेट में मार्केट में इन्वेस्ट कर रहा है, इट इज फेयरिंग ऑफ लॉस. उसका रीजन भी है बिकॉज सिंस 2020 till I would say 2023, India's financial market has witnessed a boom, but in 2024 it became pretty uncertain. That uncertainty even continued in the first half, almost in the first half of the financial year, in the first half of the calendar year 2025 as well. जिससे कहीं ना कहीं that confidence of investment and the fear of loss has increased. Along with that, the intenders, that means the people who are planning to start investment within a year, if I talk about them, so for them, they are looking forward for simplified digital platforms, easy onboarding process, inspirational success stories and role models. ये बड़ा important है कि ये जो inspirational stock success stories मिलती हैं, देखो 5 साल पहले मैं कहीं नहीं था लेकिन सिर्फ और सिर्फ शेयर मार्केट की वजह से मैं कहाँ पहुंच गया, तो that gives a boom. Then we have the lower entry barriers, which means smaller minimum investment sizes and simpler KYC requirements is somehow pushing the investors or non-investors to invest. और इसकी अगर हम परसेंटेज की बात करें, around 22% of the non-investors, they have shown the intent that we will be investing in the near future to go, we will be investing in the upcoming year to go. ठीक, clear हो गया point. Last point is investors education needs. So investors education need में इस survey के according it has been preferred that channels could be social media, mobile apps and digital TV, as well as digital ads or TV ads are on the top sources of investment information. Then we have generational differences. Gen Zs, they prefer short form videos, reels, and infographics. Older cohorts, they prefer articles, podcast, or in-person workshop so that they can have much detailed analysis of the given point. Then we have language preference. A strong demand exists for regional language financial education content so that they can improve the accessibility in the rural and semi-urban education. So this insight is crucial for SEBI's Investor Education and Awareness Fund as well as for AMFI Mutual Fund Awareness Campaigns. आपको याद होगा about this Investor Education and Protection Fund. This Investor Education and Protection Fund is managed, and in this Investor Education and Protection Fund, if a share is declared unclaimed or the dividend is declared unclaimed, then after 7 years of claim and shares, if they are unclaimed, we call them as unclaimed shares or unclaimed dividend. So these unclaimed shares or unclaimed dividends are deposited into the IEPF, not only by the companies, but it is now also applicable on the public sector banks. If your shareholder is not there to recover the funds, if your shareholder is not there to receive the dividend, then after 7 years, you will be transferring those funds into IEPF and they will be termed as unclaimed dividend as well as unclaimed shares. That is the same organization or the same fund, that is Investor Education and Protection Fund. Next point we have is regulatory awareness and grievance redressal. Awareness of SEBI's grievance redressal mechanism such as scores. SEBI's complaints redress system. SEBI's complaint redress system, where you can complain regarding the stock market, regarding the capital market. So those who used these platforms, they reported 90% satisfaction level कि हाँ जी हमने complaint report की, हमारी complaint resolve हो गई, we are 90% satisfied with it. So this reflects that SEBI systems are effective. More public communication and user engagement are required to increase the awareness. ये point बड़ा important है. ये रिफ्लेक्ट क्या करता है कि सर जो सेबी का सिस्टम है वो इफेक्टिव है, मोर पब्लिक कम्युनिकेटेड एंड यूजर एंगेजमेंट उसमें अच्छी खासी है, जिसकी वजह से अवेयरनेस इंक्रीज हो रही है. इफ आई टॉक अबाउट अपॉर्चुनिटीज अहेड, एज आई डिस्कस्ड अर्लियर, 22% of the non-investors who are already aware of security products, they have expressed their intent that they will be investing in the next year, which means trust is increasing, simplifying process and expanding financial literacy. Clear हो गई बात? समझ आ गया? If you have any doubt, you may ask please. So remember this is this survey was designed and reviewed by a panel of experts who all were the part of the panel. So we have Shri Mahesh Vyas, who is the Managing Director and CEO of Center for Monitoring Indian Economy, Shri Sandeep Arora, CEO of Sansora Solutions Private Limited. Then we have Dr. Abhiman Das, Professor at IIM Ahmedabad, and other senior officials of SEBI and many other partnering organizations. तो उन्होंने मिलकर पहले फॉर्मेट डिसाइड किया और उस फॉर्मेट को डिसाइड करने के बाद दिस सर्वे वाज कंडक्टेड. क्लियर हो गई बात? समझ आ गया पॉइंट? इफ यू हैव एनी डाउट यू मे आस्क प्लीज. एक एक पॉइंट इस सर्वे का बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन पूछे जाएंगे. अगर हमसे कोई पूछे इंडिया सिक्योरिटी मार्केट, इट इज एक्सपेंडिंग रैपिडली, which undoubtedly increased the dependency on digital platform, UPI linked investing and youth participation. However, financial literacy, inclusion and risk awareness, they still remain critical challenge, and in order to overcome this, Investors Survey 2025 will help SEBI to understand the current situation so that the desired required policies can be framed and implemented in the economy. यहाँ तक अगर किसी को कोई डाउट है तो पूछ लीजिए, अदरवाइज वी विल बी मूविंग अहेड. सो कंक्लूजन में क्या है कि सर नाउ SEBI is going to come up with the policies which are ought to be data driven by identifying gaps in awareness, trust and accessibility so that inclusive, transparent and responsible investment culture can be achieved. Key role in guiding the future of financial inclusion and capital market participation is need to be focused. If it is clear, give me yes sir, so that we can come up with the discussion or we can come up with the MCQ to answer this. तो ये मैंने आपको एक टेबल बना के दे दिया कंक्लूजन के लिए. कौन सा सर्वे है, कंडक्टेड बाय सर्वे एजेंसी, कवरेज क्या है, कब रिलीज हुआ, की फाइंडिंग्स क्या थी, सिग्निफिकेंस क्या है, मेथोडोलॉजी इंक्लूड क्वांटिटेटिव एंड क्वालिटेटिव, इन्वेस्टर, नॉन इन्वेस्टर्स, लैप्सर, इंटेंडर्स, कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी में क्या क्या बैरियर्स है, कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी, लो ट्रस्ट, लैक ऑफ नॉलेज, एंड लास्ट इज फोकस क्या है, सब बिल्डिंग ट्रस्ट, सिंप्लीफाइंग एक्सेस, expanding financial literacy. Done. Here we have the question now. Just give me a second. चलो जी, क्वेश्चन ये रहा आपकी स्क्रीन पे, क्या हो गया, नाउ द क्वेश्चन इज ऑन योर स्क्रीन। क्वेश्चन पढ़ते हैं। कंसिडर द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट अबाउट सेबी इन इन्वेस्टर सर्वे 2025 and identify the correct ones. The survey was conducted jointly by SEBI, AMFI, and the market infrastructure institutions like NSE, BSE, NSDL, CDSL. That is correct. It covered around 90,000 households across 400 cities, 1,000 villages. So this is wrong. The survey found that around 63% of Indian households, they are aware of at least one securities market product. This is correct. Only 9.5% of household they are actively participating. Correct. Rural participation in the security market was higher than urban participation. No sir, that is wrong. So answer is going to be A option 1, 3, 4 are correct. Rest all the options are incorrect. ठीक है जी, clear हो गया point. So we have only one point which is correct. That is the A option. Rest all the points are incorrect. अगले question की ओर बढ़ते हैं. The next question is going to be a homework. So be ready. You have to take the screenshot for the next question. Take the screenshot, give me the answer in the comment section, and I will be discussing it in the next session to go. I guess done. Let's move on to the next news. Next news क्या कहती है? अगर हम next news की और बात करें, ease of doing business, rationalization and standardization of penalties which are charged on stockbrokers by the stock exchange. We know that when we talk about SEBI, SEBI is the Security and Exchange Board of India, which is responsible for managing, regulating, constructing the policies for the capital market. But along with that, in this market, we have the intermediaries, as well as we have the n number of authorities which are helping not only SEBI but as well as the investors and the issuers so that a function can be performed in a well-eased manner. So Security and Exchange Board of India, the regulator of India's security market, has taken significant step towards enhancing ease of doing business for the stockbrokers. तो क्या किया गया उस पर ध्यान देना. In India's financial market ecosystem, जो stockbrokers हैं, who are they? So they act as a mediator between the investor. They act as a mediator between the investor and the stock exchange. If someone wants to invest on the stock exchange, they cannot invest directly. They will be investing with the help of a mediator, and the mediator is stockbroker, which offers you with the demat account, which offers you with the trading account, which offers you with all the other facilities so that you can trade, you can invest, you can purchase the instruments. So as intermediaries who facilitates the buying and selling of securities such as shares, bonds, mutual funds on stock exchanges like National Stock Exchange as well as Bombay Stock Exchange. Now over the period of time, SEBI and the stock exchanges, they have developed penalty framework. ये बड़ा important है कि सर over the period of time जो SEBI है और जो stock exchanges हैं, उन्होंने मिलकर एक penalty framework को डेवलप किया, जिसके तहत ये इंश्योर किया गया कि जो ब्रोकर्स हैं, दे शुड फॉलो द प्रिस्क्राइब्ड रूल एज वेल एज कंप्लायंसेस इन द कंट्री. लेकिन यहां पे क्या हुआ सर, देयर वर सम इनकंसिस्टेंसीज एंड डुप्लीकेशंस इन दिस फ्रेमवर्क व्हिच लेड टू द ऑपरेशनल डिफिकल्टीज, ऑपरेशनल बैरियर्स as well as the reputational risk for the brokers to perform pretty well in the India's stock market. So in order to address this, SEBI came in front. तो SEBI ने कहा नहीं सर, इसे rationalize करते हैं, standardize करते हैं, क्योंकि अब stock brokers पे जो penalty है वो stock exchange द्वारा भी लगाई जाती है. Not only this, जो penalty है that can be charged by the stock broker, by the SEBI as well if they are not fulfilling the norms as stated by SEBI. तो उस कहने का मतलब ये हुआ कि there are two organizations which are charging against the same. There are certain overlaps of the issues, there are certain overlaps of the penalties, there are certain mixed bags of the penalties. So in order to overcome this particular scenario, SEBI ने कहा नहीं, we should come up with a rationalized and standardization of the penalty framework. So issue with the existing penalty framework क्या है? सब पहला issue था penalty for similar violations was different across different exchanges. स्टॉक एक्सचेंज में बॉम्बे स्टॉक एक्सचेंज कोई और पेनल्टी चार्ज कर रहा है और नेशनल स्टॉक एक्सचेंज कोई और. Broker who were members of multiple stock exchanges, they could face multiple penalties for the same issue. The term penalty itself has a negative representation which suggests wrongdoing even if the cases of minor procedural or technical lapse. आपने पेनल्टी बोल दिया, मार्केट में हाहाकार मच गया कि पता नहीं ये ब्रोकर ने क्या गलती कर दी, तो उससे उनकी रेपुटेशन पे इशू आ रहा है. सो दिस क्रिएटेड द रेपुटेशन रिस्क फॉर द ब्रोकर्स एंड अननेसेसरी फाइनेंशियल बर्डन. हेंस देयर वाज अ स्ट्रॉन्ग नीड टू सिंप्लीफाई, standardize and de-stigmatize the process so that ease of doing business for the stock brokers in the country can be improved. अब इसको करने के लिए क्या किया गया सर, सेबी ने एक consultative approach ली. So what is this consultative approach? So SEBI has adopted a consultative and collaborative approach by setting up a working group. If I talk about this working group, you can take it as a committee. एक committee setup की गई. Composition of the working group included the representatives from stock exchanges like National Stock Exchange, Bombay Stock Exchange, members from broker associations, senior SEBI officials, and the group review किया इस group ने the existing framework and propose किया revised and uniform structure. So they have come up with the revision and they have come up कि एक uniform structure होना चाहिए which will be applicable for all the stock exchanges. So based on the working group recommendations and subsequent deliberations, the revised penalty framework was issued on 10th of October 2025 by all the stock exchanges in consultation with SEBI. तो SEBI के consultation में इसे present किया गया और objective same था, rationalize करना, standardize करना और ease करना और ease of compliance करना for the stock brokers. तो इसमें uniform क्या objective है? Uniform across exchanges, सबके लिए same. Single lead exchange concept. Single lead exchange concept का मतलब for broker registered with multiple exchange, only the lead exchange will impose penalty for violation that are common across the exchanges. तो अगर आपकी कोई ऐसी violation है जो कि अलग-अलग exchanges पे common है, तो only जो आपका lead exchange है that has the power to charge the penalty. जो penalty word है भैया उसको भी अब revise कर दिया. Now penalty word will be replaced as financial disincentive. It is termed as financial disincentive for technical or procedural error. If there is any technical or procedural error, then you will be using a word financial disincentive. Remember that इससे जो आपका reputational image damage हो रहा था, that won't be done. Gradual enforcement, first time minor violations instead of imposing monetary penalties, advisory or warnings will be issued. तो इसमें ये कहा गया कि अगर कोई first time पे माइनर वायलेशन कर रहा है तो सीधा पेनल्टी चार्ज मत करो, पहले वार्निंग दे दो, एडवाइस दे दो ताकि ये आगे ना हो. लास्ट इज कैपिंग ऑफ पेनल्टी अमाउंट टू इंश्योर प्रोपोर्शनैलिटी. मैक्सिमम लिमिट कैप हैव बीन इंट्रोड्यूस्ड फॉर सर्टेन कैटेगरीज ऑफ वायलेशन कि भैया मैक्सिमम लिमिट फाइनलाइज कर दिया. दिस प्रिवेंट एक्सेसिव पेनल्टीज एंड इट विल एनहांस प्रेडिक्टेबिलिटी फॉर द बोरोवर्स. नाउ इफ आई टॉक अबाउट द फ्रेमवर्क, इन द फर्स्ट फेज 235 एग्जिस्टिंग पेनल्टी आइटम्स को रिवाइज किया गया या ये कहो कि रिव्यू किया गया और उसका आउटकम क्या था? पेनल्टीज जो रिमूव की गई, सर्टेन वायलेशंस व्हिच आर कंप्लीटली रिमूव्ड, दैट इज 40 वायलेशंस को जहां पे पहले स्टॉक एक्सचेंजेस वर हैविंग दैट कैपेबिलिटी टू चार्ज अ पेनल्टी, दैट हैज बीन रिमूव्ड. माइनर प्रोसीजरल लैप्सेस टर्म्ड एज फाइनेंशियल डिसइंसेंटिव, तो 105 टर्म्स को बोल दिया गया फाइनेंशियल डिसइंसेंटिव्स. Remaining violations with revised penalties, they have been rationalized and simplified. तो penalties जो बची हैं अभी वो कितनी है सर? That is 90, जो कि पहले कितनी थी 235, 40 को हटा दिया, 105 को टर्म दे दिया financial disincentives और बाकी को आज भी बोला गया 90 penalties. उसमें 36 penalties rationalized means reduced quantum or revised structure, 7 replaced with advisory or warning for first instance, 6 introduced capping on maximum limit, 29 no change in the existing form, 12 new penalties को introduce भी किया गया. ये भी याद रखना, 12 new penalties have also been introduced. This is also something which is very important. अब इसमें अगर हम बात करें what will be the impact, so the revised framework will also apply to ongoing enforcement proceedings, providing immediate relief to the brokers. So it will be an immediate relief to the broker. It supports SEBI's goal, that is ease of doing business, which will reduce compliance complexity, standardized process and lowering the reputational and financial risk. Clear हो गया? इसमें एक point है which I would like to discuss, that is सामूहिक प्रतिवेदन मंच. सामूहिक प्रतिवेदन मंच क्या है? So it is basically a technology-based common reporting platform which has been introduced by SEBI and the stock exchanges to streamline regulatory compliance for brokers. क्या है ये? This will allow the brokers to file a single common compliance report at one exchange instead of submitting the same information to multiple exchanges. तो अब क्या हुआ कि सर एक stock broker है. It is registered to multiple stock exchanges. Earlier, this stock broker has to submit the reports to different stock brokers, जिसके लिए different stock exchanges, which was very difficult. Now ये कहा गया कि ये जो stock broker है, they will come up on a platform that is सामूहिक प्रतिवेदन मंच, and they will file their data, they will file their compliance report once, and that will be shared with all the stock exchanges which are linked to that given stockbroker, which will ease out their process of operation. And this is not the first time it has been introduced. Its first phase was effective earlier. We have discussed in this session also, 1st of August 2025, which enabled submission of 40 compliances, 40 compliance report through a unified platform. Phase 2, which is effective from 15th of October 2025, expanded the system to include 30 additional compliance report also. So now in total 70 compliance report will be registered on a single platform rather than submitting them to different stock exchanges. इससे होगा क्या सर? It will promote digital governance and it will again promote the ease of doing business for the stock brokers in the economy. Clear हो गई बात? तो ease of doing business में स्ट्रीमलाइन किया पेनल्टी प्रोसेस, रिप्लेस कर दिया स्टिग्मैटिक लैंग्वेज विद न्यूट्रल टर्मिनोलॉजी, जैसे पेनल्टी को रिप्लेस करके फाइनेंशियल इंसेंटिव इन डिसइंसेंटिव कर दिया, एनकरेजिंग डिजिटल रिपोर्टिंग at SPM, harmonizing the process across exchanges, and SEBI is building trust, transparent and growth-friendly capital market environment for the economy as it is expanding on regular basis. Let's try to identify the answer for the question. Consider the following statement regarding SEBI's revised penalty framework for stockbrokers announced in October 2025. Give me the answer. First statement, the revised framework aims to standardize and rationalize penalties imposed on brokers by stock exchanges. That is correct. Absolutely correct. Under the new framework, penalties for procedural or technical lapses will be now termed as financial disincentives instead of penalties. That is also correct. In case where brokers are the member of multiple stock exchanges, only the lead exchange can now charge penalty. So this is the wrong statement. SEBI's working group included representatives from broker association and stock exchanges. That is correct. Last point is the revised framework also applies to the ongoing enforcement proceedings. That is also correct. So keeping that in mind, 1, 2, 4, 5 are correct. That means B option is the correct answer. Is this point clear, guys? If it is clear, just give me yes, sir. If you have any doubt, you may ask, please. Otherwise, we will conclude the discussion. These were the two important news from SEBI, which I am expecting that it will be asked for sure in your SEBI examination. तो पढ़ लीजिएगा, PDF को download कर लीजिएगा, and please take the screenshot, and I will be looking forward for your answers in the comment section below. Done, guys? Enjoyed? If you haven't liked the session yet, then I would request you quickly hit the like button. If you haven't shared the link of this session with your friends, do share the link of this session with your friends so that more and more students, they can join us live and they can watch this session for their better understanding. Yes, I will be covering that. In the next session only we'll do that. In the next session only I'll do that. Don't worry. In the next session itself, I will be completing both the reports. Don't worry. ठीक है जी? Done हो गया? No doubt. Shall we conclude? Okay. So thank you so much for joining, guys. We'll catch you in the next session to go. Bye-bye. Take care. Good luck. God bless you all. Do join the Telegram channel to download the PDF. Bye-bye.